Hello, hi. Welcome back to our Kubernetes series. Today, in this particular video, let us cover Kubernetes Worker Node Components. We will be seeing what exactly is Worker Node and the three major components, kubelet, Container Runtime, and kube-proxy. And we will be seeing in depth about the each and every component, kubelet, Container Runtime, and kube-proxy. And we will be seeing how exactly that together works, the workflow, how communicate together for actual work to be done, and a quick recap about the today's discussion. So without further, let's enter into the video and have a discussion. First thing was, in the last video we have seen the cluster. In the cluster, the control plane components. Here, this is the architecture of worker node, where we have the pods, kubelet, container runtime, kube-proxy. Now let us see what exactly is worker node. First thing, the worker node is a machine that runs your application. That can be a physical server or a cloud virtual machine also. And it executes the workloads which was assigned by the control plane. So it never decides anything on its own. It just follows the instructions received from the control plane. And also it host the pods. That means a pod is the smallest unit within the Kubernetes. So wrapping one or more containers, uh, basically the your applications which was running. So that particular pods is hosted by these worker nodes only. And also it reports back to the control plane. That means it constantly sends a health results or status, basically the metric reports back to the Kubernetes update. I mean, to make sure that the Kubernetes is updated. And on a non-technical example, simple understanding, you can think like the worker node. It is a factory floor where the control plane is the management and the worker nodes do the actual production. So here, this is how exactly the points I have just discussed. The control plane sends the instruction through the API. It communicates to the worker node and it does the actual things. Now let us deep dive into the components within the worker node. Okay, it's just kind of overview. Later we will be deep diving into each and every component. The first thing was kubelet. Kubelet is like a supervisor where each and every node, I mean, supervisor within the node, and basically it receives the pod specifications from the API server, and it will ensure the containers are running correctly as per that particular specifications. So what it will ensure, it will runs on each and every worker node. It monitors the container health and also it reports the status to the API server. As I said, it is the supervisor or a node agent. Kubelet is the node agent which was present in the worker node. And the second one was container runtime. So we can also call it as containerity. Okay. So it is the engine where actually it pulls the images and starts the container. So it works under the Kubernetes direction via the CRI interface. CRI means container runtime interface. So what it does was it pulls the container images and it starts and stops the containers and it works via the CRI interface. So it is the container engine within the worker node. And the third important component was kube-proxy. It is the network manager where in each and every node, this particular kube-proxy acts as a network manager. It maintains the routing rules and the traffic, which was reaches the, I mean, that particular pod should reach for the particular service or not. So what it will ensure was pod to pod communication, service-based routing, host-based routing. It uses the IP table and IPVS. Okay, so basically, a kind of entire network routing is taken care by the kube-proxy. So altogether, you can think like the kubelet was the manager and the runtime will runs as well as the kube-proxy is connects through the networking concepts. So altogether must work to run your application successfully. Now let's deep dive into one by one component. First thing was kubelet. As I said, this is the node agent within the worker node. So it runs on each and every worker node. So it always present and always listens for the instructions. So it receives the pod specifications from the API server. So the pod specifications basically in the YAML script, and it will ensure exactly what containers to run. Okay, so I mean based upon that YAML defines what exactly need to be run. So that is achieved through the kubectl. Why? Because it monitors or it receives that particular specifications, right? Once it receives that specifications, it monitors the container health. So it uses the liveliness and readiness probes. We'll be discussing about these terminologies in the future videos to check the containers whether or the health status of the container is okay or not. Everything is checked by this, and then the it reports the status back to the API server. Basically, pod is running, whether is it a healthy or using some X CPU or Y memory. So everything is reported the health status to the API server. And then finally, it restarts the failed containers. So if a container crashes, here kubectl will tells runtime to restart that particular container. So that is also done by the kubectl. And whatever the points I just discussed, a simple technical flow representation was given here. First, the API server will send a pod specifications in a YAML. These are basically instructions. So these instructions are received by the kubectl, and it acts based upon that particular specifications. So it starts, it reports back the health status through the API server, and then um, everything like restart or monitoring the health status, everything is monitored and updated by the API server to the kubelet. Okay, and then that will communicate to the controller manager in the control plane. Okay, so this is all about kubelet component. Now the second component was container runtime. As I said, this is the engine where it is responsible for running the containers. So the actual engine which was underneath the Kubernetes, and what it does was it pulls the container images, that might be it downloads the images and from the registries like Docker Hub or any private registries, and it starts as well as stops the containers. Basically, it creates a isolated environment by using the Linux namespaces. CG groups is there. Okay, C groups, container groups basically, and it works with the kubelet via the CRI. So as I said, CRI is the container runtime interface. So it is the standard API between them. So here, CRI container, CRIO container, container these are the container runtime um, tools. And here is the how the this container runtime works, the workflow of the container runtime. First, here the kubectl calls the CRI. It starts, I mean, that includes start this particular container. So that receives via the CRI interface. Okay. Then the will container D is basically the container runtime where that includes the specifications or however the instructions need to be fulfilled. It pulls the image, and if it wanted to be downloaded, it downloads the image and finally starts the container. So this is how exactly the container runtime component workflow and how it works. Now the third component was kube-proxy. As I said, it is the network manager. So it handles all the network within the pod, and it manages how the traffic should flow in and out between the pods also. And also it will enable pod to pod communication. The pods on your different nodes can still talk to each other. So that is going to define through this kube proxy only. Okay, and service based routing. Let's say that uh, it rou- we wanted to route the traffic from service to the correct backend pod. So how we can through the kube proxy only we can achieve that, and also we can maintain the network rules also. So it uses the IP tables or IPVS to set the routing rules on every node. So on a hand, simple analogy or simple understanding, you can think like kube proxy is the node's traffic cop. So it directs each and every network packet to the right direction, okay, as per the requirement. And this is how exactly the diagrammatic flow of kube proxy network flow indicates. First, the user or external traffic request receives. Here, the Kubernetes service that might be a stable IP or DNS name. DNS resolution is done here, and then the kube proxy will routes through the based upon the IP tables or IPVS tables to the correct available pod, whether it is a pod A, pod B, pod C. and then traffic is distributed accordingly and eventually to handle the task correctly. Okay, so this is how exactly the kube-proxy workflow was. Now let us understand how exactly these three components work together. First thing was the API server will send a pod specifications to the kubelet. So here, let's say for example, run two replicas of Nginx on this particular node. Once the request was received from the API server, here kubelet will read the pod specifications, parses in the YAML script, knows which image, which ports need to take, volumes are needed, everything is defined within that particular specifications. Once it reads the pod specifications, then kubectl will calls the container runtime via the container runtime interface. So here, the runtime will pulls the image from the registries and starts the container within that particular pod. Once it was up and running, then the networking will come into picture. So kube-proxy will set up the networking rules. It updates the IP tables to traffic that can be reached to the new pod via its service. And once the traffic is also fine, then finally the kubelet will continuously monitor and reports the status back continuously to the through the API server to the controller manager, which was residing in the control plane. Okay, so this is how exactly the flow looks like. All the worker node components work together. So first the API server, this is the pod specifications. Kubelet will reads it. Based upon that, it starts and routes the traffic based upon the kube proxy. And then once it was routed the traffic, based upon that instructions, it creates the container and it's make sure up and running and the health status is updated through the what we can say kubelet continuously monitors and sends back through the API server this health status. So this is how exactly these three components work together. Okay. Now what exactly we have covered was kubelet, runtime, kubeproxy, pods. So it's just a simple one word analogy for this kubelet. It is a node agent, okay, worker node agent. Runtime was the running container. Basically, through this, uh, it runs the container. Okay, and the kube proxy, it is a network routing, and pod is where actually your application is running. Okay, and here is the one non-technical analogy or example also, where you can think like the worker node as a factory floor, and here there is a four primary components: kubelet, kube proxy, runtime, and pods. Kubelet is the floor manager, and then the kube proxy is the logistics for that, and logistics is basically uh, who is the target audience or who is the target person to reach that particular product. Okay, and then the runtime, basically those are the missions, and then the pods, which are the products which was made. So through the runtime, that means with the help of missions, the products are made. Okay, so with the help of runtime, that means containerd or CRI. Okay, so these particular pods and underlying containers are made. Okay, so here is the final point. The worker node is where actually your work happens, and the control plane will decide. Worker node will just execute it. Okay, as I said initially in this particular video, so worker node not going to take any of the decision on its own. It is just going to act based upon the instructions received from the control plane. And in the upcoming video, we'll be seeing the Kubernetes cluster setup, the installation process, configuration, and how you need to deploy your first application in the Kubernetes platform. So I hope so you found certain points useful out of this particular discussion, and stay tuned for more videos. All the best for your learning. Thanks for watching.